Once upon a time, there was a fox who was walking through a vineyard. As he walked, he saw a bunch of juicy grapes hanging from a high branch. The fox immediately became excited, as he loved grapes and wanted to eat them. However, he soon realized that the grapes were too high up for him to reach. The fox tried to jump and reach the grapes, but he couldn't get high enough. He tried again and again, but each time he failed. Eventually, the fox became tired and gave up. He sat down beneath the tree and looked up at the grapes, feeling disappointed. As he sat there, the fox started to think to himself. He began to convince himself that the grapes probably weren't very good anyway. I bet they're sour and not even worth eating, he thought. With that, the fox got up and walked away from the vineyard, telling himself that he didn't want those grapes anyway. The other animals in the forest saw the fox leave the vineyard and wondered why he was leaving so soon. When they asked him about it, he told them about the grapes and how they were too high up for him to reach. The other animals were surprised and impressed that the fox had even attempted to get the grapes. However, when the fox told them that the grapes were probably sour and not worth eating, they all laughed at him. "You're just saying that because you couldn't reach them," they said. The fox felt embarrassed and ashamed, realizing that he had only convinced himself that the grapes were no good because he couldn't have them. From that day forward, the fox learned an important lesson. He realized that it was better to accept his limitations and move on, rather than to convince himself that something wasn't worth having just because he couldn't have it. And although he never did get to taste those grapes, he learned to be content with what he had and to appreciate the things that were within his reach. And so, the fox continued to walk through the vineyard, admiring the beauty of the grapes and feeling grateful for the other delicious foods that he could eat. And whenever he saw something that he couldn't have, he simply reminded himself that there were plenty of other things in the world that were worth enjoying.